Hello friends and enemies, it's me Isabel here with a fun rec video today. So Shay over at Shay Geeks Out does this occasionally where she will rec books to manga. So it's either if you read the book, try this manga, or if you read this manga, try this book kind of situation. So somebody who reads both, I love the idea of doing this, and I've just kind of now feel like I've read enough in both sides to have some good recs and some comps to popular book titles and books I love, vice versa. So I've got 5 like very specific, if you read this book you could try this manga. They have similar feelings. They may not be the exact same age demographics because of how manga works, but I feel like they're good jumping in points and series that are popular and somewhat easy to get a hold of. Let's dive right in with a booktube romance classic, I think. And that's Get a Life, Chloe Brown. So this is a book that is beloved in the community, I think, for a lot of reasons. It's a really fun series. I really enjoy Talia Hibber's writing. I know not everyone does, but Chloe Brown has a list in which she attempts to get a life and figure things out and learn more, and ends up hooking up with like her neighbor, landlord, and going on these adventures together. She also has chronic illness, but there's a book series. The whole series is about the Brown sisters. Again, I feel like this is one of those series that like everybody's read, so I felt like it was an easy one to rec to, but also one that I felt like I had the perfect manga for, which is a manga I'm also obsessed with. And it's different. So Get a Life, Chloe Brown is adult and has explicit sex on page, obviously. This manga is YA, we'll call it. It is a shoujo romance manga, and that is Imakoi, Now I'm in Love. This is volume 1. We have through volume 4 in the States out right now, and this is about a girl who missed her chance before with a guy she had a crush on. She didn't speak out soon enough and decides she has to act on it, so she does, and she confesses her feelings to him, and they end up dating. And it's them just figuring out what that is, what it is to date. It feels very similar in a lot of ways to me to Chloe Brown, because it's that same sort of thing where it's like I've got to start doing more with my life, and this feels that way, but like in that high school way. This has very quickly become one of my favorites. It's very cute and sweet, very similar dynamics in my opinion to Chloe Brown and Red, but not the identical. This is definitely just the cutest. I'm seriously obsessed with this series. We follow Satomi as she figures out what it is to date, what that means for her and her new boyfriend and crush, who is just very handsome and very sweet to her. Their dynamic has been precious. Literally I get these volumes and I devour them, so highly recommend Imakoi if you like the vibes and feelings of Chloe Brown. All right, next we're gonna jump to the non-romance recs. I only have one non-romance title, so if you like Finley Donovan series, so we have Finley Donovan, Jumps the Gun is the newest one, the 3rd one just came out. In Finley Donovan, in the first book, we watch her become an accidental hitman. She's a struggling author, and it is so funny. Y'all, like, it is so funny. So I took the idea of like someone who, unlike Finley Donovan, I'm going to say that this character in this manga, pretty much all of the characters in this manga are competent, but like in Finley, they're all hiding something. And that is Spy Family. If you haven't picked this up, this is one that you can get in the Shonen Jump app, which is $2.99 a month. So it's a great way to try it out and see if you even like it. But this is a very comedic spy family story. We follow Lloyd, who has to have a fake family to infiltrate a school to like take care of some stuff. Well, he adopts a daughter who turns out to be a telepath, and he marries a woman who happens to be an assassin in secret, and he is secretly a spy. So everybody's got secrets in this series, and it's very, very funny. Like, it is so comedic. Anya, the daughter, is probably my favorite. I think it's like everyone's favorite, but I also really love Yor, the assassin, because some of the stuff with her in this is just too funny. And Lloyd, like, just doesn't notice it somehow at times, where I'm like, shouldn't you be noticing these things? But he doesn't. So yeah, this to me is like a perfect comp to Finley Donovan if you like that kind of story and you want something that is very silly but also like has some fun intrigue elements to it. Spy Family. That's my recommendation there. Okay, so if you love dark mafia books and you read Run Posey Run, which happens to be one of my favorite books. So Run Posey Run follows our heroine who's been passed around to various men in the mob. Her family's been in hot shit because her uncle did something bad, so they're all kind of have been disowned to an extent. She ends up with Dario, who is basically a sociopath. I feel like And he kicks her out because he thinks she cheated on him, and like because of this video that was like forged as time-stamped when they were together. And then he comes back and gets her. So this is very much a twisted tale. It's very dark. But I loved that we had a heroine who knew herself, knew her worth, kind of. Not like quite her worth, but she knew herself enough to like be like, yeah, fuck this. But also a heroine who isn't just like virginal was really nice. So we follow this. Their romance ends with him like he would kill anyone for her. I've got one rec that I think is the perfect comp to this book, and I'm obsessed with, and I'm really sad that we have to wait till May for volume 3. That manga is Yakuza Fiance. This gives me Ren Posi-Ren's feelings. Not identical, but our heroine is from Osaka, and her grandpa is the leader out there for the Yakuza. He is friends with a guy in Tokyo. Like, he has friends in Tokyo that are in the Yakuza as well, obviously. Well, he sends his daughter there to be betrothed to the guy's, like, next in command, basically, son situation. It's not quite his son. There's some stuff. And he is kind of their fixer. Like, he shows up at night, like, bloodied, and obviously having just beat the shit out of someone. And he also is a psychopath or a sociopath. I'm not sure which, but he's got some stuff wrong with him. And we follow Yoshino is our heroine, figuring out that he has problems and then eventually accidentally enticing him. She's kind of resigned herself to like, this is what I have to do for right now, but like, it's probably not going to be what happens. Like, I probably won't actually have to marry him. They're going to high school together. This is not this is an 18 plus manga series. Even though it's set in high school, this is very much 18 plus, but this follows that. And at one point in volume 2, like, he's like, or is it the end of volume 1? But we watch him like suddenly be like, oh, you don't want me, I want you now. Like, you stood your ground, I want you now. So again, a very strong heroine, not your typical heroine in this, but I'm very excited for this. This is a seinen manga, which does mean it is targeted towards adult male audiences, which is why I said, again, it is not for anyone over the age of 18, but also the romance in this still, although it is marked as a seinen, does not feel like that's secondary to the plot, because like things like Sweat and Soap and Wotakoi are seinen technically. So this feels in the same vein, just dark and twisted. And if you just want a really smutty insta-love Yakuza, you gotta pick up Yakuza Lover. This is such a fun series. It is very insta-love. It is not gonna work for everyone. It is explicit on page. It is also 18 plus. This is just a delightful story about a girl who gets rescued by a Yakuza boss at a party and their love story. And again, very explicit on page smut. So it is exactly what you want. If that's all you want out of like a Yakuza book is smut, this is your book. If you read Book Lovers and or have a favorite book that centers around a bookstore. In Book Lovers, our heroine Nora goes to Sunshine Falls with her sister for like a 3-week, month-long vacation situation. And they end up running into Charlie, who is the editor that she had like a really not fun first meeting with. And it follows their slow build relationship there, and he happens to help his mom run the local bookstore that they own. It's very cute, very fun. I quite enjoyed it. I think this was my favorite of all the Emily Henrys I've read to date. And I'm curious to see, like, I really just loved the bookstore element of this. I thought it was really cute. I thought it was cute that the bookstore's name was Good Books, like good with an E on it. Like, it was just fun. If you want that feeling in a manga, I would recommend The Savior's Book Cafe in Another World. So, yes, this is not contemporary, I know. But this follows a girl who is thrown into another world by a god and has abilities, but she doesn't really want to have to use them, so she's able to disguise that she has these abilities and ends up getting to do her dream, which is just running this cute little cafe kind of in the woods full of books, and she serves really delicious food and teas and stuff. And the king's guard, the head of the guard, comes in and orders tea and stuff, and they start talking about books and things. And it's their like little sweet, soft romance. It is very cute, very sweet. I think this is a great one if you're looking for kind of a cozy fantasy vibe, but bookish. I also just think anybody who wants something bookish in general in their books, this is a great option to pick up. There's only going to be 5 volumes, so it's not a big investment if you do pick it up, but this is an adorable story. I love it. I'm so excited for volume 5. But yeah, it's really, really cute, and their romance is just precious. So if you saw recently, I read A Soul to Keep. by Opal Rain. This is a monster romance that follows a hero who is very inhuman but also a cinnamon roll at the same time, who takes a sacrifice from the village every 10 years, then puts a protection spell over the village. His sacrifice, Rhea, this year, that he brings back with him, helps teach him a lot more about being human. Like, he was already pretty human, but like he like learns more about his humanity and how to like be with a human. And this book has direct inspiration from a specific manga, so I definitely feel like I would be remiss not to talk about it. But if you read A Soul to Keep and you loved it, and you love the monster dynamic here, and the teaching of like humanity and things, and the dynamic between the two of them, I have the perfect manga. But if you haven't read A Soul to Keep and it interests you, I really can't recommend it enough. It's going on my shelves. Like, I'm putting it on my shelves soon. And I can't wait. But I would recommend you check out The Ancient Magus Bride, which the author admits is a direct inspiration for the work. Our hero, Orpheus, in A Soul to Keep, is inspired by Elias from Ancient Magus Bride. There's a lot of tie-ins here. There's a lot of playbacks. There's even a character that gives Chise, that gives our heroine's vibes from Ancient Magus Bride. This is one of those ones, I haven't read all of this yet because I've been like hesitating. I've watched a good chunk of the anime and I adore it. And I'm like gearing myself up for the obsession. If that makes sense. Like, I stopped myself because I was like, I'm going to become obsessed. So I'm gearing myself up for the obsession. But The Ancient Magus Bride follows a wizard who adopts this girl who is like a slave basically, which it's terrible, but she comes to his world and helps him with things, and they kind of like live out in the woods a little bit, and it very much it's the same thing. Like, these two books are the same but like different, and I can't recommend it enough. All right, the next two books I have, I'm gonna rec based on like if you like a certain kind of thing. If you are really big into fantasy romances, I have two recommendations for you that I don't shut up about on my channel personally, but I still would feel weird not to rec them. So if you like fantasy romances and you like a long overarching story, and your library would probably have this, like, I will be surprised if you couldn't get this at the library. It's a pretty popular series. Yona of the Dawn is perfect for you. This follows Yona, who watches her dad be murdered by her cousin, and her bodyguard Hawk takes her and they go on the run. Yona, we find out, is the reincarnated Dragon King, and they go around the country gathering up all of her dragon warriors, and the story is very fast-paced, even though it is like 37 volumes currently. The first 5 volumes, we move through a lot of the story quickly, and that we are wrapping up soon, so like this will be complete pretty soon. So we follow Yona and Hawk and all of her dragons on this overarching massive fantasy world, and a lot of plot and intrigue happen. So highly recommend. Highly recommend. So next we have another fantasy romance rec that I have is Nina the Starry Bride. This is currently only available digitally, but we are getting physical copies soon. We don't really have a date on volume 1 the last I checked. If there is one, I'll put it right here. But Nina the Starry Bride is another great option, I think, to pick up and check out if you are wanting to try a not as long as Yona fantasy romance. This follows Nina, who is basically being put in place to act as a princess priestess that's gone missing or is gone. She is being used to leverage another country so they don't go to war, and just there's so much plot and intrigue in this, and there's only like 8 volumes right now. It's so good. I speed through Nina every time I get a new volume pretty much, and I'm pretty much like waiting it out every time. I'm like, okay, I need the next volume. I'm so excited to get it to put on my shelves. I love this series as much as Yona, so I truly think like you cannot go wrong. All right, and then I've got a rec for people who like to read books with disability reps in them, and specifically I think of like Chloe Leese as an author that does this a lot, or Evie Mitchell. I don't know if Evie Mitchell's done a deaf character, but my rec for that is A Sign of Affection. This is currently on hiatus until like May or June. We get volume 6 in the States, so you easily could catch up on some of this, and I'll note it down below if it's still on sale, but volume 1 was on sale for like 99 cents digitally recently. But A Sign of Affection follows a girl who's deaf and uses sign language to communicate. They do translate the signs from Japanese sign language to American sign language in the translations, which is really neat. And there's lots of notes in this book about the sign language used and choices made with it, which I really appreciate that being there. I think it gives some great context. This follows her, and she runs into this boy on the like train home, and he is talking to her, and she freaks out because like she she can't understand him really, and I think she realizes through lip reading he's speaking English to her, and it's their like really cute, sweet, slow romance, and her teaching him sign language so he can communicate with her properly, and it's just really, really cute. Yuki's in college, like it's just a very sweet college-based romance. I honestly will probably reread all of them before I pick up the next volume because I miss it. Like I was super sad when I went on like a little hiatus here in the States for releases because I was just like, no, I want more. But their romance is so sweet and so cute. I just, again, like I had to find a way to rack it, but I didn't have a direct one in my stash to comp it to, but seriously, pick it up. Okay, y'all, so that is all of my if you like this, try this recs this time. If you have specific books you want me to rec to, drop them in the comments. If I have one off the top of my head, I'll give it to you now, but if not, I will do round 2 of this video in a few months. If you don't want to do that, you can leave me a dog or cat emoji because Millie and Peas are both just like, will not leave me alone today. They are both very attached to the hip. I've got Peas at my feet and Millie is not far away staring me down. She's like, let's go, Mom. I want to go back downstairs. So you can do that. And if you want links to any of these books, those will be down there in the description box, as well as links to Be My Friend anywhere on the internet. And I will talk to you all in just a few days. Bye.
Already packing, come with me. I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away.